Good afternoon. My name's Nick. I'm one of the account managers here at Textlocal, and I thought what we would do today is just give you a little bit of background on how to make more of the auto responses a little bit more cutting edge, make them more relevant to anything that's being sent out, and just basically encouraging a little bit more of two-way traffic. So without further ado, let's crack on with this. And let me show you some of the features of this. Right, so everyone should be familiar with the Textlocal platform. This is where we go to send messages. It is also where we go to receive messages. So first of all, the type of messages that you could receive, they could be a keyword on a short number. So on this occasion, what I've done is I've set up a few different keywords, just basically so we can demonstrate this. The one I will be using today is example on 60777. Another way that you could actually have inbound activity in a similar fashion is having a keyword on a long number, or if you had just the dedicated inbound number. So what would happen is a client would text in to you on one of these three ways, and we have the ability on our platform to be able to send out an automated message to these people. But as well as that, in the background, we can then move these numbers into contact groups for you and basically help you create a new custom group, give you some sort of database to be able to target new and exciting offers to, and just really help grow all the contacts. So what I'll do, just so we can all start at the right place, I will show you how the short code on the number here works. So for this, we've actually set up example on 60777, so we thought that was quite an easy one to remember. So for instance, what you would actually do is have an offer, whether it be for some sort of activity that you may have in store or on site, or if you want people to be able to text in for future activities. So in this example, what they would do is they would text the word example to the number 60777. If any of you wish to text that number, you're more than welcome to, and we can basically show you how it works in the background. With the inbox, which is basically stored under receive and then view inboxes, this brings up a list of all the relevant boxes that you have open at this time. So we'll pop into example on 60777. And here it basically gives us the dashboard on how it would actually work. So you can view any messages that come into it by just simply clicking on View Inbox. It will show you the number of the person that's actually texted to you. It would also show you the message that they've actually texted to you, and it would also give you the time and date of when that message was received. Once you have all this information, you're more than welcome to export it via a CSV folder, and then that way then if you need to hand it on to any telephony teams, or if you just need to have it for some sort of kind of like manual process, the documentation will be there for you. Each inbox has a settings tab. This is what we're really looking at today to try and make sure that we get the most from all the messages. It gives you the ability to add an inbox name. So for example, this box here of example on 60777, you might want it to be for a Christmas campaign. So you can put the word Xmas or Christmas or however you want to word it, and then save the settings. And then what that actually does, it names the inbox for you. So if you were to go back into the view inboxes and you wanted to have a quick look down at what we're looking for, we're looking for the Christmas activity, which is in this inbox here. So it just makes things a little bit quicker for you to look into. So what we'll do for now, we'll just go in there and we will take that out because it's not necessary at the moment. With auto responses, sometimes people will text you in and they want a standard reply back. So for instance, if you were hosting a competition, so if you wanted people to text in to be able to enroll in this, what you could always do is have the word example on this occasion. You advertise it in store, in windows, on press, radio advertising, television advertising, anywhere that you can get that number out, brilliant. you would basically encourage people to text in on that number. What you would do, there's a tab here that says send an auto response to each incoming message. So we'll click on there. Now it gives you the ability, like how you do in a send text message, to alter that actual sender name. So if you wanted it to be prize draw, you can send it to that. If you wanted it to be information, if you wanted the name of the company, and again, if you wanted to use simple reply service, we'll have that capability to be able to send that on there as well for you. But for all intents and purposes today, we'll leave it at Textlocal. You can then set up the message. So you could put in there, thank you for entering. We will be in touch with the winner soon. Now, everybody that texts into the word example, because we'll have to always click save after it, will get that message sent directly back to their phone. The way how I've set this up at the moment is it's almost instant. So if any of you out there wanted to text the word example to 60777, roughly within about 5 seconds, you should basically see a message coming through to your phone saying, thank you for entering, we will be in touch with the winner soon. This is more for information purposes only. It's so someone doesn't have to manually contact people each time, and it just really is a good way to get right back to the competition with people. Sometimes what people might want to do is they might want to use this function to send further information. So you could advertise the keyword example to 60777 if people wish to know further information about a product or a service that you may have. Again, you can send it, but just bear in mind that you're still restricted to the 160 characters if you want to send this within one message. What I would suggest though is that we have the ability to add links and attachments to this as you would do with sending a normal text message, but that would give you the ability then to get them more information across. The other advantage of doing this is you can put a trackable link on those links and attachments. So for future campaigns, you'll be able to see who received that text message, who has interacted with that link, and that would really basically cut the wheat from the chaff for you to see who would be more interested in targeted offers in the future. Again, it is very simple to set up. We would just put in here, thank you, because we're very polite, for the message. Please click this link for more info. And then all we would do, we would use our tools down here at the bottom. So we have the ability to add a short link. So again, we would just go down the list to find out what one we're looking for. In this example, we're going to use our Textlocal website. We are enabling the mobile phone tracking because we're interested to see who's going to click on it, and we'd hit insert link. As you can see there, the message only contains 95 characters, so it still gives us another 65 characters to play with if we wish to have any further information. You may at this stage wish to include an opt-out. Opt-outs are good ways to basically, if customers don't want to receive further information, but what usually happens is if they're texting into you, it shows a need that they would have, and it shows a want in your product or services. So at this stage, it might not necessarily be necessary. There we go. Now, another ability that we do have at this stage here, we can send it as a scheduled auto response. Sometimes you might not actually want the message to be sent to somebody straight away. You might want a couple of days to go by. You know, for instance, you might want to be able to send a message to them to say that we are looking at the competition results, and one of our agents will be in touch with the winner very soon. So all we would do there is we would set it up as a new scheduled auto response. We have the ability to send it after 1 minute that we've received the first text message, and we can set it to go all the way up to 12 weeks time. Again, you will be able to choose who you would actually want the text message to be sent from, and you would just type your message in there as normal. So we would put in this example that we did before, Again, you can insert merge fields as well if you wish. You can insert any attachment, so if you've got any picture messages or anything like that, rather than using MMS credits, you can still use our tools to send it via the SMS pathway. And all we'd have to do is hit save the auto response, and in that way then that message would be there locked in. One thing that we do quite often for quite a few of our customers is we might set up the response function straight away. So they might have a text message similar to this saying thank you very much, we will be in touch with the winner soon. What you can also do is set up a scheduled message like I was just showing you there. We will send that, I don't know, let's choose 10 days, oh, 2 weeks there, but let's choose 10 days after they first sent in that message to say, I am sorry, you have not won this time. Please enter our competition again next time. So it's basically, if we can spell things right, it's basically a good way of being able to stay in touch with the contacts, see who's still interested. What I might be tempted to do on a message like that is actually include any opt-outs that you have, just in case people choose not to stay in touch with the competitions. But it is a really good way of staying engaged with customers, being able to have a bit of back and two with them, and just really give them further information on what they've entered. Now, what we can also do with these inboxes, so go back into example, and we go back into the settings tab. And what we'll do is we will, well, just one other feature actually, just while I've got that open, is we also have the ability to basically not to send the auto response repeatedly. What can happen sometimes is people might want to text in. So if you had an offer where please text in to example on 60777 to receive a 10% discount code. What could happen in those situations is people might wish to text in on multiple occasions. You may only wish them to have one 10% discount code. If we tick this box here, it will not send out any further messages to that number after the first initial response. So if I was to sit there and text 100 times, the message wouldn't go anywhere because we've already sent them out one auto response. It's not going to use any more of your credits, sending out the same message to the same handset, and this way it just kind of stops any spamming or anything like that, really. As I was saying, we also have the ability to forward any of these messages that come in as well, which can be very handy, especially if you want to do real-time kind of to and fro with conversation with your clients. We have the ability to forward any incoming of these messages. There we go, to email addresses. As it says here, we can send it to 20 email addresses. What that is quite good for is if you have a team of people that need to work these leads as they're coming in, you can set it so it sends to a group of people, or you can set it so it sends it just to an individual. So for instance, if I wanted to receive any of these messages, what I can do is I can set up my email address, which is nic@textlocal.com, and then we'll hit save settings on that one there. So anybody that would text into this, they would get a this auto message back from us saying thank you very much for entering, we will be in touch with the winner soon. But I would also get an email to say that you have received a message on your inbox of example on 60777, and this is what the message reads. As a side note, what that is really good for is if you have the email to SMS function set up, because you would be able to reply to them via your email platform and the end user would receive that as an SMS. Now I'm sure we have a webinar coming up very soon that will explain that for you. If you do have any further information that you do need on that subject, any of our team on this side here will be able to help you set that up. And as I say, at the end of this webinar, I will put up contact details to allow you to contact us. Okay, so I've got it set up here, so any text message will come through to me. You can set that up, as I say, to 20 different people on there, which is good if you need a team of people working on it. Another really good feature I find is forwarding the incoming message to a mobile phone number. So for instance, I'm out on the road, I've got an offer running, and I need to know when people are texting my inbox because I need to get back to them in quite a short time frame. So what I can do in there is I can insert my mobile phone number. So whenever anybody texts into example on 60777, they will get a text message, which is what we discussed earlier. And I will get a text message basically saying that I've received a message to example on 60777. This is the number of who sent in the message. This is the message content. And this was the time and the date of when I received that message. What can be really useful with that is I can then take my mobile phone, either using the Textlocal app, which is available on Android or iPhone, and send a message back that way, or if I so wished, I could send it directly from my mobile phone. If I do receive a text message though, it would charge me 1 credit from my account, depending on the length of the message. If it goes over 160 characters, well then yes, it would cost me then 2 credits, and so on and so forth. If you were just to forward these messages onto an email inbox, there's no charge. We don't have any fees, and we're more than happy to send it to your email for total free, and in that way then it gives you the ability to do with that information as you wish. Again, if you want to set up email to SMS and reply to it, that will then use a credit in the reply that gets sent out. Again, as long as it's within 160 characters. That's pretty much the overview on forwarding. We can also forward it to any URLs that you may need us to as well, which some companies out there do decide to. But if you need any further information on that one, again, any of our team on this side here will be able to help you set that up. Another really good feature of having these inbound services is that you can also create sender groups from them. So in this example, where we're using example to 60777, anybody that texts into that number, I want to be able to send them out any offers that I've got coming up. Maybe I'm doing the campaign at this time of year because I want to start setting up a group of people that I can text near Christmas to say what offers I've got available. We can basically add any numbers into a contact group. We can add them to any of existing ones that we've got there, or we can actually create a new group. Again, creating the groups is in a similar way to how we would do it if we were to just create a normal contact group. We will be able to add the message to the custom field. As a side note on this one again, I would probably choose custom 3 because that allows the largest amount of data to put in there. Custom 1 and custom 2 will only allow 50 characters to be stored in that section. So I'd probably be tempted to store them in custom 3. And we're also able to strip out the emails and add them to any of the custom fields. Again, I'd be tempted to put them into 1 or 2 because it's very unlikely that people have email addresses that are over 50 characters long. With that information that we then would receive, we would have a contact group of people that have actively texted into us. So for me, that would show these people have chosen an interest in what my service is, what my offers are, what it is I'm trying to get across. They have actually shown some sort of interest on their side, and you know, if I've got an offer, why not text them to these people directly? Again, if you were to use a link in the message that you send back to them with a tracker, you would be able to see if any of those people from those groups have clicked on that link and had some sort of interaction. Again, that could show a buying signal, or that could show to me that these people are really interested in my products and services and maybe target them in a slightly different way. I think again we're looking at doing another webinar showing how exactly the tracking facilities work, and any of our team on this side here would be more than happy to run through that with you at any point. So what we've got here is basically the system on how you would do it if you were to use a shortcode. As I say, what I also set up just shortly before the webinar began was a dedicated inbound number. Again, it looks pretty similar to how The other inboxes looked, you'd be able to just look in there and you'd be able to see any messages that came in through the same way. And again, it has a settings tab. In the settings tab, we have all the same functionality. The benefit of using a long number is that when the people receive the text message on their side, it would look like a normal number. It's almost to call it, it's just a dead line because it's a virtually hosted number. But any message that would be sent through to it would come through to this inbox for you. What you can always do once we got the number on there is you'd be able to have some two-way conversation with them, especially if you're using email to SMS, or again if you were to use your like a handset or something like that. People would think that they're having a real-time conversation with somebody else that's on a mobile on the other side. These services can be very handy, especially if you want to run a very personalised service. And again, with the actual dedicated inbound numbers, they run at £25 a month. The short codes, again, they also run at £25 per month. What we do though is we have discounts for if you're going to take them out for 6 months and if you're going to take them out for 12 months. We also have a free version of the short code. So if you want people to be able to text in for free, we have that facility as well. The way how that would work is they would text into a slightly different number. We would then charge the credit usage from your account, but the actual person texting in won't be charged at all. Okay, so that's basically the dedicated inbound number. Another thing that I wanted to show you while I've got you all today is basically how you would set up a sub keyword. So for example, this example here, I wish I'd have chose a different word in all fairness, but anyway, this example here on example on 60777, it's very good if you just wanted to do one campaign. We have the ability to add sub keywords. So for instance, if you wanted to do a campaign that was just going to be receiving people for sales activity, you could set up sales as a sub keyword. And then as you can see here, it's set up a brand new inbox. So what you would have to do there is you would advertise it. So please text example sales to 60777. You can set up a completely different auto response in there. You can send it to a completely different email address. You can send it to the same email address. Again, we can also set it up so it goes through a sender list. And you know, we're quite happy to be quite flexible on these sub keywords, and there is no additional cost for the keyword, but again the cost is there with the credits. I might want to then you know, set up a message on this side here to say please text example sales to 60777. Once they text me in on the main line, we can set that up for you. Another good feature of having the example sub keyword, you might have people that just want to text in for information. So, horribly wrong, but anyway, there we go, save sub keyword. Excuse me. So again, we've got example info and we've got example sales. These can be set up completely different, as I stressed earlier. It's a really good way of maximizing your keywords. Gives you a really good way of splitting up the data as well, because you can have anybody that texts into example going to one contact group, anyone that texts in example info to a second contact group, and anyone that sends example sales to a third contact group. This way it really keeps your data separated, you keep on top of it. If you've got future campaigns that you want to target different areas with, you've already basically set up the information on that side there. Okay. So that's really pretty much the overview on how to make your auto responses cutting edge. While I was going through that, I have received a couple of questions, so I will just run through those. The first one is, do I get a delivery report on auto responses? Short answer, yes. These will be found under your report section under SMS single messages. Basically, when the responses go out, they go out singular, not to a group or anything. So this is where the messages are stored. We'll be able to tell you if that was then delivered, undelivered, or pending, just in case you need that information for further reporting. Can you schedule an auto response? Of course you can. As I said earlier, all you would do is go into the account, you go into settings, and instead of putting the message into the response function, just put send scheduled messages auto response. I think this is quite a good way of doing it because you can have a little bit of time set it up. And again, what I quite like to use this section for is to send out a second message to people. Just so it's like, you know, you've texted us a week ago, we're now sending you an additional text just to show you that you're still in our mind, which is a very personal touch, and quite frankly, I think it's a really good service. Okay, so how much does it send? How much does it cost to send an auto response? As long as the message is in 160 characters and you're sending it to a UK number, it will just cost you the price of your credit. So 1 credit per message. Obviously, if you go over the 160 characters, then yes, it would then cost you more regarding on how many messages the total text would be. And if you're sending overseas, then international multipliers will be applied. Excuse me. Okay, so can you set auto responses as part of our campaigns? Basically, yes. If you wanted to have any campaign set up, as I said earlier, whether it be a sales campaign, an info campaign, or just a please text us in to show us some love, we can do that for you. That's not a problem at all. You know, any of the guys on this side here will be able to help you set that up. We can show you through how to set up the contact groups and what they would look like. And to be perfectly honest, I think that services like this is really good. And with it being automated, there's not a lot of time that you're going to have to be tied up with getting back to messages. It gives you the ability to speak to people when you need to speak to them. A lot of the time with an automated service, it just frees you up to do other things around the office when you may need to. Okay. So as I say, thank you very much for attending this today. Let me have a quick look at getting a slide up for you. There we go. Right, so if there's any questions at all, or anyone needs any further information out there, all we need to do is text, I'm going text mad today. It's just call our main sales line, which is 01244 752299. That's 01244 752299. Or email us at info@textlocal.com. Or again, if you like like using the shortcodes and you want a bit of practice, you can text follow up to 60777. We may even send out an auto response to you. But once you've been able to text us in on that, we'll get one of our agents to speak to you very shortly. As I say, my name's Nick. I'm one of the account managers here. I hope you found this session of use, and if any of us can help at all, please let us know. But thank you very much for attending. Thank you.